I bet with Interbet only. They're a fantastic site. I've never had any issues with them. They are very professional. There's never a problem. You deposit money, 2 seconds later it's in your account. You withdraw, which I do very occasionally, and I believe it's also 2 seconds it's in your account.
The 8th and final race, Friday evening, the 10th of December. We're under the lights. The last race goes off at 8:30. It's the Hollywood Bets Bright Future Qualified Maiden Plate over 1,600 meters. Now, Rahil, whenever we hear that word qualified maiden plate, it's a clear indication that this is for the lesser performers, those that are struggling to get out of the maiden ranks by and large. The definition, just to remind our viewers, of a qualified maiden is that they've had to have 3 starts at least, and you have to have a rating that is not above a certain number. Difficult race, Luck of the Iris. I never ever thought I'd see Luck of the Iris top of the betting boards. 4-year-old daughter of Twice Over, but she's the early favourite at 33-10. Number 1, Miss Jacqueline at 4-1, so 2 fillies at the top of the boards. Protea Pride is at 11-2. Fantastic Impact is also co-favourite with Luck of the Iris. So Fantastic Impact is definitely an interesting runner because his last 2 starts have been runner-up berths. He's clearly a lot better on the poly track than he is on the turf track. Keegan DeMello's picked up the ride in place of Warren Kennedy. He's got a wonderful pedigree. He's got one of the best pedigrees in the world, this son of Real Impact. But he has, here he is at Hollywood Bets Gravel, a son of Real Impact running in a qualified maiden plate. But he's got all the right credentials to win it. But I don't think it's going to be one-way traffic. I do think that all of Miss Jacqueline, Pineview number 4, Luck of the Iris number 5, Protea Pride number 7, they've all got chances, along perhaps with the improving number 9 top 10. But what do you fancy?
Well, going back to Fantastic Impact, the thing that worries me about him is that he's drawn in gate 11 now. If you have a look at his last 3 runs, he's been drawn in gate 2 and gate 1 in his last 2 starts, so he's been able to get there a lot easier. Whether he'll be able to get up handy a lot easier this time is going to be a different story, and I feel he's going to have a tougher ask. Yes, it may be a qualified maiden plate, but there's horses that without form that could come and upset in this field. Desert Crusader, he was gelded before he returned from a rest, but he hasn't really shown much. He's drawn in gate 3. He could possibly improve going over the 1,600 meter trip, and one that you may want to keep an eye on. Miss Jacqueline, best of the draws. She returns to the poly track, and she's a filly that could possibly get the better of the boys in this race. As you mentioned, Luck of the Iris. She's improved nicely in her last 3 starts. Yes, she was well beaten 3 starts back by her stable companion, but after that she hasn't been too far off the action with the 4 kg claimer, but this time Nicholas Patel rides. So Luck of the Iris should have her supporters, but it does seem to be a trappy race, and possibly a race where you include a few or go field in the last leg of the pick 6.
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, it's, as we said, a qualified maiden plate. The strongest credentials, probably 11 Fantastic Impact, but as you say, got the worst of the draw to overcome. So just to dwell for a moment in these qualified maiden plates, the one thing we do know is that all of these maidens have official ratings. So if you look at the best weighted column, that's the handicapper's view of how they should finish. And as far as their race rating is concerned, the handicappers have number 1, Miss Jacqueline, at the top with a race rating of 63, 9 top 10, and 5 Luck of the Iris, joint second best rated at 61 with a race rating of 61. Protea Pride, race rating of 59 in 4th. And only then comes the early favourite, number 11, Fantastic Impact. He's rated 5th best by the handicappers and has the worst of the draw to overcome. And I think Rahil made a very good point when looking at his last 3 runs. On all 3 of those occasions, he was beautifully drawn. It's a trappy race. It's a qualified maiden. You need to include as many as possible.
It's Donovan Everett from Cape Racing, and I'd just like to say it's an absolute pleasure to be involved with Interbet and Cape Breeders in this golf day today here at Pearl Valley. It's fantastic for the industry to see all the relevant stakeholders coming down and having a good time and networking, and it's exactly what the industry needs right now in terms of moving forward and recreating some positivity to take us forward into the next year.